Alright, welcome back, YouTube. So we're going to be continuing on our Survivorman challenge. For those who caught us on the last one, pretty much the big thing we did, we cut down a whole lot of trees. And we traded our little teeny tiny 25 horsepower tractor, for this nice 100 horsepower tractor. Now the pro and con of this tractor is it is 100 horsepower, which is pretty nice. On the downside is you'll notice there's no front hookup and I can't get one. So that is the big downside, is it can only run one tool at a time and only on the back, which is a pretty significant limitation. But that said, it is significantly less of a hassle than trying to save up for a tractor that's going to cost twice as much. Now, we are doing a Survivorman challenge, for those who are unfamiliar with that. We basically start with $0. We start with a crappy, like, 25 horsepower tractor, little teeny tiny trailer, and a dream. Pretty much on this tile is the only thing we own, and you can probably make out that there was a bunch of tree stumps over there. We have been just carving away at the woods here. There'll be lots of time lapses. I'm not going to do it right away as we explain what's going on. The first thing we've got is, right now what we've got going on in the game, is I do have my bigger tractor, so I can take advantage of the fact that it's got more horsepower, where the other tractor would bog down and only go about a mile or two an hour with just two trees thrown on it. This one, more than likely the limitation is what that trailer can actually carry. I do intend on keeping that trailer for at least the short to midterm, till I can afford something better and all that. But I would say the big priority today in-game is for us to get enough money to probably get a greenhouse down, is what I think we're gonna go. Because once I clear out all the wood on this tile, I'm kind of out of luck. Like that, I have to have a sustainable income. Now, to realistically get mowing set up in an okay way, we're talking somewhere in the area of 90,000, but that includes the tractor, so that's basically 39 off the list. Now, the catch is, because that is a tractor that can only do a rear hookup, if I were to do the mowing, I would have to mow, stop, take the mower off, grab, a harrower, or more realistically, like a foraging bag or baler or whatever. I mean, well, I'd still forget the harrower. A baler or a foraging wagon, and then I'd have to sit there and take that and do a complete extra pass. So compared to a tractor that has both connection in the front and the back, it's literally twice as much work. So that's not ideal. It is an option. It is an option, but that is one of those things I'm not going to worry about too much. Now, the alternatives are, I can invest in the greenhouse side of things, which is what I think we do, at least in the initial, because the greenhouse, you can spend $10,000 for the big greenhouse. You just need to get yourself, for 3,000 bucks, 3,000 or more, I should say. $3,000 is the starting price for something you can store water in, to then put that water in said greenhouse. Which then gives you a mean of filling up the only requirement for input. And we did get lucky, and we managed to catch on the sale the forklift pickup for a tractor. Now, that does mean I have to pick up the stuff in reverse, which isn't my favorite, but I've done it many times before. But we didn't just get like the regular one that's just like flat and you just hope for the best picking up the one box, and that's the best you can do. We got the tall one. They can actually lift it and tilt it slightly, not much, but slightly. That does let you actually carry way, way, way more. Realistically, since I won't be able to add a weight onto this tractor, I'll probably be limited to 3 to 4 boxes before it just becomes too tenuous because of weight balance on the tractor, since I can't put a counterweight on the front of any kind. But it's still money. Now, one other thing I could potentially get lucky about doing with that is I could park this trailer, use the forklift, and I might be able to load up something like, I don't know, 6, 8. I think you can put them 2 wide. So I think you can stack them 2 wide. 3 tall, definitely. 4 tall, I'm not sure. And I think it's 3 or 4 deep. That's if everything goes precise and perfect, which it will not. So realistic, we'll probably get somewhere in the area of like 8 on here, which will still be good because that's probably twice as much as I can get with the forklift connection. And then because then I can also strap them down. I don't have to worry about like where I start going uphill and the angles too much, and then I just drop a pallet behind me and I have to go backtrack. You know, it's too heavy for me to pick up because I don't have super strength, so I have to like get the forklift and kind of, you know, brace it on the top of it and then drive backwards, like flip it back onto its bottom. But yeah, so it should be all good. Yeah, so that's the plan. I do think we are going for the greenhouse. And the reason, the primary reason is if I run out of trees and I don't have sustainable money, then we're screwed. And then on top of that, I don't want to sit here and cut literally every tree in here without doing anything else, because that'll get tedious both for me and for people watching. And then on top of that, what we could potentially do is if we can get some money put together, I have that sustainable incoming cash, there's the opportunity that I can then start considering other goods. Because I would like to get crops in the ground as fast as possible. It's just without getting modded stuff, even the cheapest crops are not particularly cheap. I still have to get a harvester of some kind and a seeder or planter of some kind. And for most of the crops, just that there puts you into the 50 to 100,000s or more. So, in the meantime, if we get our income, it makes our lives easier. Alright, ooh, that is very unbalanced. So let's see how this goes, because we're very much leaning to the right on that trailer. The good news is, unlike last time, you can already see the difference of why I opted to buy the tractor before any of the other considerations. Is either way I knew I was going to need at least 100 horsepower tractor. Even if I go up to getting the seeder, which requires 125, this tractor will run it. It'll stutter a little bit here and there, but it will run it. But as you can see, where before we were stuck at like 1 or 2 miles per hour, I'm going 15, so no slowdown whatsoever. We are going full on. And this was, I believe, 3 full-size trees. So this is 1.5 what we were taking before. I was gonna go for 4, but then I noticed kind of like the things weren't stacking super well, so they're starting to tip a bit too much. I was like, let's just go with what we got. And this one here on the right is definitely fine. You don't need to worry about it. It's fine. We just glued it in place. It's no big deal. Shouldn't hurt the final price. Those are actually curious about. The moment you put the straps on, it disables the physics on the individual logs. It kind of makes this whole thing like one giant clump. And that said, you can actually have ones that like get missed because they're a bit too far out of the area over it. But if you ever want to test, you can actually hold a log above the thing, hit the strap button, and just lock it in place in the sky with nothing beneath it. So you can get away with some pretty ridiculous shenanigans with that. Now, if everything goes well, this should get us pretty close to $5,000. But that's the idea, is it should only take us two loads of trees to get ourselves a greenhouse, and then at least the future is secure. Alright, we'll see. Oh. I'm hoping those will sell ones. We missed one. Okay, so it's about 4,800 or so. Just shy of. Cool. So yeah, should only take me So one more run to be able to buy the greenhouse, and then probably one more run after that to buy a water trailer. I might go one more on that and get at least one size larger than the smallest water trailer, because the smallest one I can get, I believe, is 2,000 liters, and the large greenhouse is 20,000 liters. So I really don't want to deal with that. But if we get just a little bit more, we can save ourselves a lot of headache. Oh no. That is tipped real badly. There should be another log? Question mark? There you are. That's totally fine. That's fine. So, this is completely cursed. I had a log shift on me, and it's unbalanced the entire load horrifically. So, there is a very high likelihood this thing's just gonna roll right over. But it's on there, and we're just gonna see what happens. Alright, so this should be interesting. I'm kind of figuring the moment I lift these straps, they're just going to fall everywhere. So we might not get to see how much money we're going to get from this. This should be somewhere in the area of like 6,000 to 7,000. But yeah, so it's just gonna spill everywhere. That's actually not as bad as I thought. Till we agitate it to get it down to that pad. Because seeing one big number is much nicer than see a bunch of big, a bunch of numbers. I think the best we're gonna do. It's a disaster. Let's see. All right, 6,300. Yep, so then about 6,500. So the good news is that is enough for the large greenhouse and a pretty good ways towards getting a water tank. We could honestly just shy of buy the small water tank. I actually don't know if there is a place here to fill up water. I'm not seeing an obvious water tower. There's that over there, but that's probably like fertilizer and all that. I haven't actually looked for water here before. The other possibility is some maps you can fill up your tools in the lake, some maps you can't. At least I believe it's based on the map. It could be a separate mod. Can I pick you up? No. Alright, okay. So let's go ahead and build the greenhouse. We got production, greenhouses, this one. And what we want to find is I haven't figured out where I want to put this yet. So you can see a couple arguments. So this is kind of the yeah. So you can see this is out of range of where we own. But if I go straight over here, we can. I don't necessarily want to put the greenhouse right next to us. We have the big forested area. I'm not going to realistically be able to place this very many places because of all the tree stumps. And we do own all the way over to about here as well. I don't feel like we go all the way over there either. There's a couple arguments I could definitely see. One is we don't quite get over to this road. I mean, I guess if I turn it. I could see trying to put along the eastmost edge of our tile. So that way it's over here. Now, downside is you can see that this is cutting in on the bottom of the hill there. It's not flat. It slopes up and over. So I'd want to try and get it to be roughly even. I could see putting on the north side, because the south side I'm gonna have more field. It's also like I wouldn't worry about where this road is. The dirt road here. I'll probably end up moving it because I could just plow over it, whatever. So I could see making a large rectangular field, just getting rid of that, and then making a cobblestone road there. So what I could potentially do is for right now put it like this. I'm seeing it say $200 for flattening, which tells me it's doing a lot of legwork. Yeah, these are telling me it's doing a lot of legwork flattening. Basically, the closer you can get it down to just like its exact price of 10,000, the far more level the ground is to work with. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Yeah, so there's a little bit of ridge here, a little bit of ridge there. That should actually be pretty tame. We can flatten it out later. What actually we're gonna do is, even though I shouldn't be spending the money, I'm gonna go ahead and go like this. I will choose to use a little bit of gravel here. can't. There you go. Yes, it says at the end of the map I don't actually own that spot to do anything. Alright, so eventually I'm going to want to swing in there and make that better. But all I did was just put down some gravel, so that there's going to be gravel paths. I'll have to buy the other tile of land to like bring the gravel around. But I am thinking eventually we'll put our greenhouse that might be just over here with enough space to drive in between. But you get the idea. So I probably shouldn't have spent that money, but eh. So our goal is 9,500, which fortunately is one more load of wood. So I'm going to go get another load of wood, and we're going to go ahead and get ourselves a water tank. Alright, so we do have enough now for the water tank. I could save up for the bigger one, but we're not going to. We're going to go here. We're going to grab you. Again, 7,300. I don't really care about the tires. Alright. I don't think these can daisy chain. Some things you can, some things you can't. Answer's no. Alright, It's fine. It doesn't really matter which one we go with first. So, the questions we have is, I have not checked. Let's go for a long drive. Let's see if I'm able to just dunk this in the lake and bring it back. And it is officially running. So if we check our stuff here, we look at our production. We are officially producing. That said, we just got our first liter strawberries. Okay, so for the moment, we're just going to take this over here as well. Plunk it down there. Go get our trailer. And I mean, honestly, we're like literally gonna delete the road. Like I'm gonna really, really go for it. With the intent to put a bunch of crop down. And then I can ignore them for a while, since if they're plowed, they shouldn't get weeds for a good long time. But we can go ahead and do that. And then it'll be a matter of, we will need to see what makes sense so far as planters and seeders and all that. I mentioned before I could get the planter and, or sorry, the seeder and the harvester, or planter and the harvester, whatever, for root crop pretty easily. I think that's 40,000, which there's more enough trees for that. The downside with that is, honestly, the smallest harvester for the carrots and parsnip is really a bad time. You gotta buy a crate, fill it up, which takes like no time at all. You know, you kick the crate out the back, which is effectively a pallet. Get a new crate, repeat the process. Its harvest width is like 0.5 meters or some obnoxiously small amount. And it is super tedious. And they do have good harvesters, but you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars before you reach that point. Which means doing the tiny crates until then. So, it's definitely not the direction I really want to go. If I have to, I have to. But it's definitely not the direction I'd prefer to go. The intention that we will sell a bunch of trees tomorrow, chop them up, sell them. We will buy a plow. We'll start to, oh, that's a cliff. Okay, don't go that way. All right, let's just take a different route there. That is not the way to go. Let's see how far I have to get in here before it lets me start this. I'm hoping I can just like scooch along the side kind of thing. Nope. Nope. I realize in real life it has to actually be in there. Okay, so it doesn't like it just needs to put its little tippy toe in there. Just dip your little tippy toe in there is all you need. All right, that's not bad. That's reasonable. All right. So, going to leave that there. Okay, we're going to grab the trailer. That said, this is going to be where we end up this in-game day. We're not going to be pushing to like min-max every single day. Like there'll be days that we have more fields than I can handle, and that'll be a thing that we'll have to address when we get there. But this is getting to that point. Just in case I did decide to fast forward through the part. Basically, what I think our next moves are going to be when we get to the next in-game day is pretty much we're going to keep working on knocking down some trees. But the first purchase we're going to make is I'm going to try and get the $14,000 plow. So not the big one, but, you know, an okay one. That should be pretty easy. I'm estimating there's probably in the area of like $120-ish thousand worth of wood left in those forests because we used about a third of them. And I did like the math of how much we've spent. So we should be good for that. But that should be able to get us a plow. And we already have the tractor we need to work with that. We can pick up the seeder or planter. It'll probably be a seeder because I'll probably do soybeans just to start because it's one of the more lucrative ones. But yeah, so it's going to be get the plow tomorrow, plow this whole area out to make basically two fields, one next to each other. Ooh, actually, let's check our grow seasons. I didn't think about this part. We do have seasons turned on. Okay. We're probably not going to be able to get stuff done, are we? All right. We'll have to decide if we want to do seasons or not. I've left seasons on all the time, but realistically, I don't get things plowed and seeded before October is over, like on any meaningful level, which does mean we're waiting till probably April to plant. And then the downside is it does mean December and January we would never have anything to grow or harvest outside of, trees and that. That's 2 months that are just kind of dead months. Okay, well, good chance I'll turn off the seasons. We'll see. I might put, like, if this episode goes up in time for people to respond to it and you can weigh in, I don't know if that will be. I'm going to try and do a bunch of these in advance. But we can, like, what are your thoughts on seasons? Because I still could decide. But what are your thoughts on seasons? Should I have them off? Should I have them on? Obviously, getting rid of them technically does make it a little bit easier. But I wouldn't argue it doesn't make it that much easier so much as it does save time. Because the alternative is if I leave the seasons on, we miss this one, we basically fast forward all the way to, you know, April and then we plant stuff. Or yeah, we'd fast forward all the way to April and we plant soybeans. So all that would mean is just basically fast forward this one. And realistically, we're cutting down trees. But we can put that out there. Whenever you see this video, weigh in. What do you think about seasons and all that? Should they stay on? Should they go off? In the meantime, like I said, the plan is plow the field tomorrow. If I can, get some seeds in the ground. Unrealistically, it's unrealistic that we probably will. With all that said, though, if we do decide to turn off seasons, then we will get stuff in the ground when we're able. If we do seasons stay on, we will end up fast forwarding through a lot of time and just more cutting trees. So I'm going to lean towards, if I don't have a chance to get a response, I'm going to turn off seasons. That way we're actually planting stuff to keep things interesting. Anyways, before we keep waffling back and forth, thank you again so much for tuning in. It has been a very constructive day in Farm Sim on our Survivorman challenge. We did get our giant water tanker to fill up our greenhouse. We did get our greenhouse. It is now producing money. We got the forklift and the tractor last time, so literally we're set up with everything we need to get money out of our greenhouse. We did knock down probably another fifth of the woods that we've got here to cash in a bunch of money to make that all happen. And when we get back tomorrow, we're going to knock down more trees, we're going to plow, we're going to design a field, and we'll figure it out from there. So I do hope to see you next time, and thank you again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe.